Hey YouTube, I'm going to bring you another knife review today. This one is on the Strider SnG. Now there's a bunch of these videos on YouTube, a bunch of reviews on the SnG, but yeah, I thought one more wouldn't hurt, right? Anyways, let's get started. Both of these are on loan from two different friends of mine. So I'm trying to figure out which SnG that I'd like to get. So I'll be talking about, in this video I'll be just talking about SnGs in general, and I'll have another video out talking about which one I prefer, with which of the configurations I like. But so to start off, the SnG Shape is pretty interesting. At first, I wasn't drawn to the SnG Shape. Okay, so at first, you know, I'd seen them a couple years ago when I first started getting into tactical knives and high-end knives, and I thought that was really blocky and just awkward, and I thought there was no way it could be a comfortable knife. But I saw people posting on the forums, specifically on the USN, that they loved them. So yeah, I tried them out at like the knife shows and stuff, and yeah, they really didn't. They weren't for me. You know, I didn't like them at the time. But over time, I've handled them more, and excuse me, specifically now I've been able to use them more, and actually really like them. It's completely changed the way I look at them. So let's talk about what I like about the handle. So everyone's probably familiar with, if you watch knife videos on YouTube. The G10 side is, so G10 goes from here and is all the way around the backspacer. It's one solid piece of milled G10, and then the lock bar side is titanium. It's either flamed or stonewashed, and it has these large groove jimping marks at on the back here for your thumb, and then if you go into reverse grip, right here. So it's obviously very blocky. Okay, so you have this completely flat, straight spine, this angled portion for the butt of the knife, and then this angled portion here. But it's a lot more comfortable than it looks. At least originally, that's the way I thought, is it looked uncomfortable. So, and here's why I really like it. You know, I think this one feels better. Let's see. Okay, so here's what I like about it. And some of these points I'll be taking from my friend John Frederick. If you're on the US, then you know who he is. He makes some great points about why this handle is so ergonomic. So first, let's talk about in this position. And in this position, there's two different forces you can have. Your force of your hand sliding forward, so if you're stabbing into something possibly, or that hand sliding back like this. If you're, I don't know, if you're sliding your knife through something and it gets caught and twists. And most knives they'll have a block for one or the other, but some knives have a blockage for both. Like an Emerson CQC 15 or CQC 12 has guards in the front and the back. Well, this SnG doesn't have guards, but it does have kind of geometric shapes that stop your hand from moving forward. First, you have this large finger choil, and to some extent the jimping here, which keeps it from sliding forward. Secondly, you have this back strap here, this butt of the knife, which for my hands, which are about medium sized, the butt of my, I guess the palm of my hand wraps around the butt of the knife. So when it's pushed, the knife is pushed back, it actually kind of stops it with the palm of my hand, which is nice. If you're, I don't know if you're cutting something or your hand slips and you stab into like a, I don't know, a piece of wood or something. Anyway, and then to protect it from pulling back, you again have this choil here, which stops your next finger. But then if you're gripped tightly, then your fingers will actually stop you from sliding back, because the way this is angled out, like here, as you slide back, it gets wider, so you might actually be able to hold on via that method, so that your hands kind of get tighter and tighter as you slide back. In this grip, you don't have as much protection from the butt end here, because as you can see, at least in my hands, it kind of slides off. But you have two finger choils now to kind of really grasp onto. And both of these grips are extremely comfortable. I prefer this grip a little bit more because the balance of the knife is right at the finger choil. So up here you have very precise control, and you have most of the weight of the blade in, or the weight of the whole knife is in your hand, whereas here it's evenly balanced and it's fast at hand. But in this grip, you also have a decent amount of control and slippage, or preventing slippage from both directions. So I like that. It's a secure grip, and I think it's up there with some of the most secure grip knives out there. Like I mentioned this before, the 12, the Emerson CKC12 and the CKC15 are two knives that have guards both forward and reverse side. So let's talk about the blade shape. I prefer the spear point over the tanto. I don't like Strider tantos. They're very obtuse, and they're meant for something else than what I'm interested in. So this is basically for me going to be an EDC knife, a heavy-duty EDC knife, but an EDC knife nonetheless. And for EDC type tasks, you really, in my opinion, it's hard to get anything better than a simple drop point. Drop point like this, or maybe a clip point, spear point kind of thing, like the like a Sabenza. But this leaf shape, I think I said drop point, didn't I? Anyway, this is like a leaf shape, similar to Spyderco designs, but you know, clearly a bit different. And I think it's a great design because it has a gradual sweep, but adequate belly for most of your cutting tasks when you're kind of cutting like this. And the tip is very strong, but is also, you know, pointy enough, in my opinion. But what's nice is it's almost like an arrowhead. So if you just look at, you know, this portion here, it's similar to like an arrowhead, which has a great stabbing ability, basically. So you know, I've been using both of these knives pretty hard, as hard as I can, and they cut extremely well. They stab into cardboard easily, and they're great utility knives. And I haven't talked about it, but that's their main purpose. You know, Emerson knives. Ernie is a big proponent of tactical knives, knives to save your life, and they're for soldiers more or less, or mainly soldiers and law enforcement. But Strider knives are all about utility purposes, right? So these knives are designed for hard work. They're designed for cutting things and not people, which make this a very utilitarian design. Okay, so this. They're not designed to, you know, get out of your pocket quickly, and they're not designed to be anything but a utility knife. And I think they do that. They do a very good job of that. But then the question becomes, you know, oh, it's a, you know, $400, $500 knife. Well, I think what you're getting is a utility tool that is super strong, super durable, and you can trust on. It's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Okay, so. It doesn't have the fit and finish of a custom knife. I'll agree with you there, but it's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like that hammer that just won't break, you know? It's been passed down from your grandfather to your father to you. It's that hammer that's like 50 years old or older, and you know, it just can't break. So it's in my opinion, it's more of a tool and less of functional art. So sometimes we see knives as these art pieces that should be just so pristine, whereas this is just a hard use tool that can take more abuse than probably any knife that I can imagine right now. So as an EDC knife, I think it's a great option, especially for me. It hits all those things that I like. It has the comfortable grip, the great blade design. It's a 3-inch blade, 3.5-inch blade overall with a 3-inch cutting length, which is perfect for me. I love 3-inch knives. So when I choke up like this, it has exactly what I want. I cut up packages, and most of the time when I'm using my knife, I cut packages. So I'll cut either like this, choked up here, or kind of like this when I'm cutting the box sideways, or what have you. But yeah, so the SnG, I've been really impressed with it recently. Like I said in the beginning of the video, at first I thought they were just ugly knives, but now the more I use them, the more I see them for their beauty is in their utility. So they're not fancy, they're not sexy, but they're just extremely useful. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, be dressed to play and geared to slaughter. See ya.